guys, this is me, Real Bebel here, and I've always wanted to talk about games that I really enjoyed, despite the fact that they were just bashed or hated on by either critics or fans alike. And even though these games aren't like 10 out of 10 perfect 9 out of 10 must-have games, despite their flaws, I really enjoyed the game for what it had to offer. And with that out of the way, here's my list. The first game on the list I want to talk about is Nier. And Nier's the first game, is the last developed by Cavia, which is sadly shut down now. What I really enjoyed about Nier is that the story is just really good, the soundtrack's really good, and the game's just relaxing overall. It's a pretty peaceful game, even though there's like blood and swearing and stuff, but like, I just really liked how, it wasn't too, maintenance heavy. You didn't have to worry about too much. All you had to do is just pretty much explore the land, defeat monsters, just go on with the story. It was just a very, simple game in general. It's kind of like, The Legend of Zelda had a lot more RPG elements. And the combat was fun. It was a bit easy, but it was still fun. The story is really good, actually. It's one of the better stories that came out this generation. And pretty much, yeah, it's just a very peaceful game. The soundtrack is really great. And the game is only $11 from what I bought from it. So if you're looking for a game that's similar to Zelda or just want a good action RPG, definitely pick up Nier if you have just $10 waiting around you. And the next game I want to talk about is Perfect Dark Zero. Perfect Dark Zero was a game that was supposed to come on the GameCube, but since when Microsoft acquired it, it was then supposed to come to the original Xbox and then to the 360. So pretty much the game, I believe, had a 5-year development cycle. And to be honest, everyone hated this game. They thought it was a huge disappointment from the original. And even though the original is technically the better game, considering the time period these two games came on, but I have to admit, Rare games on the 360 weren't as bad as people made it seem. I mean, it's not like in the N64 games where every single game they made was pretty much a must-have game. But I thought their 360 games were pretty cool. I really enjoyed Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts for what it was. I enjoyed Cameo for what it was. I also really enjoyed the Viva Pinata games. Those are really underrated games. You definitely should get it if you can get over its, kiddie exterior. But Perfect Dark Zero, I had a good time with it. I thought the multiplayer was pretty cool. I believe you could play with around 64 players. That was pretty impressive for a launch 360 title. And I thought the single-player game was actually pretty decently long. I think it'd take 10 hours to beat the game. And yeah, sure, the AI is dumb, and the action may not seem as crazy as, the latest Call of Duty game or Halo game, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. I thought the co-op was cool. I liked in the single-player how if you went through higher difficulties, you'd have, more objectives to do. And I had a fun time with this game. And I bought for really cheap. I bought this game for $7, but I've heard from some people that this game costs $2 now. So if you really want to try a shooter or are interested in the Perfect Dark series, try this game. It's only $2 and you'll easily find it in your local GameStop or any store you could find. And speaking of long development cycles, Too Human is easily one of the most long-awaited games ever. I believe this game started on the PS1 and it had a 14-year long development cycle, and it finally was going to come out to the 360. And everyone was expecting, oh my god, a game that was made for 14 years, it must be the best game ever. And honestly, long development cycles are a terrible, terrible sign that the game won't be as good as people expected. Because usually when they're designing the game, they're designing it for that console, and when it goes to another console and another console, it's just pretty much they're way behind just gameplay wise and just a lot of things they were way behind on. But Too Human was a hyped game nonetheless. Not like that crazy hype, but had a good amount of hype going around it. Then the demo came out and people were excited to play it. I was excited to play it. And when I downloaded the demo and played it, I was like, this game is not that much fun. You couldn't control the camera because the attack button is actually your right stick, which is an absolutely stupid move by Silicon Knights, I have to say. But one day, and then the critic reviews came out, and it just got a lot of hate. And while I was on Hollywood Video, I was gonna go there just to rent a game, and I decided to rent Too Human. Maybe if I just tried it more, maybe I'd like it. And to be honest, Too Human is the type of game that I felt that I enjoyed more the more I played. Unlike usually Mario Out, it's really fun at first, but when it gets near the end, you get a bit tired of it. But Too Human was a game I actually liked more the more I played. And I don't know how to pinpoint exactly why I like this game. I think it's just its world, actually, because the world is a combination between, futuristic cyborgs and robots, and also combined with Norse mythology. And it brings a really interesting world. I really liked exploring the city in the game. I also really liked all the loot you can get. There's a lot of loot you can get in the game. And I I had a good time with it. I don't think that everyone should get this game, and if you do decide to get this game, I can't really guarantee that you'll like it that much, but for me, I enjoyed it. And if you're feeling, it's not really that expensive. It's only $10, so if you don't mind, spending $10 on a game that you might not like, then definitely just pick it up. I enjoyed the game. I hope. Too bad there won't be a sequel since the game does end in a cliffhanger, but man, I with the sequel, I think this game had a if the sequel improved on a lot of the first game's problems, I think it would have been a really amazing game. But sadly, we won't probably have a sequel anytime soon. And the next game I want to talk about is Suikoden 3. And critic-wise, this game did really well. I believe it's the highest rated Suikoden game. But in terms of fans, you'd see this on the lower end of, favorite Suikoden games. And I always wondered why. Maybe most likely is because the game is pretty much kind of in a way like the black sheep of Suikoden games. Since instead of controlling like one silent protagonist, you actually have three protagonists that you get to choose from. But I really like that because the game actually offers a story in three different points of view. But the problem with that is that there's going to be a lot of backtracking. Just to know, if you really hate backtracking, you probably will not like this game very much. But I thought the story in this game was amazing. I really enjoyed the battle system since instead of controlling each person individually, you actually get to control them in pairs. And I know that may really sound limiting, but the interesting thing is that positioning matters in this game. So if you're doing a magic spell that takes up a certain area and your ally's in it, there's actually a chance that your ally will get hurt from that. And also the fact that when a magic spell takes 2 turns to do and an enemy attacks you, he has the possibility of, canceling that magic attack from happening. And I found that very interesting. It opened a lot of new, strategic options in the battle system. And also I really liked the 108 stars in this game. They felt a bit more, developed as compared to even like later games like Suikoden 5. I felt actually the item shop guy actually had a surprising amount of, personality to him compared to Suikoden 5's. And I just really enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed the game's story. I enjoyed its battle system. I enjoyed the world. I love I just love the 108 stars that you get to recruit to your castle. And the castle's not as big as the other games, but I still really enjoyed it for what it was. I love playing through different points of views. And in my opinion, this is my favorite Suikoden game. I have not played the second one, just to note, though. But out of all the ones that I've played, this one is actually my favorite. And if you don't mind backtracking, I think you'll really enjoy this game for what it is. And I really give this a high recommendation. I really love this game, and I recommend anyone who's into RPGs just definitely get this game. And the next game is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. And this game it was generally well received everywhere. But a lot of people say to ignore the second Knights of the Old Republic game. And I think that's really stupid and ignorant of them just to deny other people the chance to play this game. Since, okay, it's not as good as the first one, I'll admit. But this is still a really fun RPG that, if it just had more time, it could have been so much more. It could have even had the possibility to beat the original. And that's why I believe, had only a year and a half of development. So the game is actually pretty glitchy and stuff, and there's some characters which have like no dialogue whatsoever. And it feels like a rushed job, but it's still Knights of the Old Republic. It's still a lot of fun. There's still multiple dialogue choices. There's still experiencing being a Jedi. There's still crafting your lightsaber. They're still exploring the great, cities of, pretty much the Star Wars universe. And it was just a lot of fun for me. Like, of course, I like the first one more, but this game is still a lot of fun. And if you play the first one, definitely just check this game out. If anyone denied you to play the second game, don't really listen to them. Honestly, this game's still a lot of fun. It's still pretty long. I think it's around as long as the original, if not a bit longer actually. But definitely pick this game up. If you haven't played first one, I definitely suggest you play the first one, then play this one. But still, Knights of the Republic 2 is still a great game, and no one should really deny you of to not play this game, since it's a lot of fun in my opinion. And the last game I want to talk about is Luigi's Mansion. And this game gets a lot of ridicule. If you see any Mario parodies, if you just see multiple of them, you'll most likely see one that makes fun of Luigi's Mansion. And I think Luigi's Mansion just came out at the worst time ever, since it was the GameCube's launch, and guess what? No Mario game was out, so they decided to release Luigi's Mansion, and of course, Luigi's Mansion just didn't live up to the standards of Mario, and just people just started making fun of this game. I really like this game for what it is. I love the game's atmosphere and personality. This game has a ton of personality and charm. All the characters that you meet, the ghosts that you get to capture have a lot of personality, and they're really fun to know more about. The game also, the haunted house actually looks amazing. This game has the style of like your Saturday morning cartoon horror theme. You know when you watch a cartoon, there's always gonna be that one horror episode, and this is just pretty much it. This is what the game looks like, and I absolutely love it. I'm really excited for the second one that's coming on the 3DS. I really hope that the second one does become successful so that they can make a third one. And to be honest, I know this game gets a lot of ridicule and you might be put off by it and not get it, but I suggest you get it. Super cheap now. It's still fun. I still had a great time with it. It's really easy though, and it's not too long though. If that's a problem for you, then you might not like it. But if you want just a nice cheap game that's a lot of fun to play, Luigi's Mansion is pretty much one of the best GameCube games you can get if you just want some cheap, quick fun. Alright guys, and that's my list of games that I like despite what critics or fans had to say about them. And if you'd like, I'd really like to know what games you like despite what critics and fans thought of also. And thank you guys for watching so much. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And I'm Rio Bubble, guys, and peace out.